How's it, guys? Welcome to another video. So this was my manufacturer race that I did. It was last night at Interlagos in Brazil, GR4, and I'm in the Jag. So I'm trying something a little bit different on my videos. Let me know if you like them. I'm doing a full onboard streaming, added some music, and then you'll see on the top right I'll have the exterior replay cam as well. So give me some heads up. Alright, so quali, I was practicing. I did a 37 on the medium tires in the practice session. Obviously no tire wear, no fuel usage. So I thought I'd get a decent time on the racing soft. So you'll see coming out the pits, bah! Straight into the wall. My steering wheel wasn't straight, it didn't calibrate straight. So anyway, so GTR started to catch up from behind. In quali, I wanted to sit in somebody's slipstream just to get a little bit more drive down the straight, but I also didn't want to be held up by anybody. So difficult to gauge on your first lap out to see who you should sit behind. Eventually I found this Aston, and he wasn't too fast, but he wasn't too slow either. So I decided, alright, well, let me slot behind this guy on the straight in the slipstream so I can pull in about 2-3 tenths over here and then potentially cross the line in a decent starting position. And then this happened. So yeah, I'll show you what happened, and then I will give you guys a lap of my fastest lap. Yes.
Like you, be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one, only one. I was an ordinary boy until I broke the rules. My life destroyed, life destroyed. Until I walk awake, scream my mind, I shout, the ground shakes. How much can I take? My mind will break. Will it break? Can I take? Can I be your superhero? Superhero. Can I be your superhero? Superhero. Superhero.
So 12th place start, as you saw. I could have done a lot better than that, but anyway. So on the starting grid, it was actually quite a mixed bunch. Porsche got pole, 37.037, as you can see there. Very close field actually. Second place, 0.15, and from there to me was probably half a second. So you'll see the times. Time split, 0.038 to third. All the way back to me at the back there, I was only 0.688 off for first place. So I definitely could have been in the top three quite comfortably. French behind me, 0.076 behind me, and then the Russian, 0.558, which was in the picture, which you will see what happens to him now. So I didn't rev initially on the beginning because I didn't know what the fuel usage would be. I didn't hear a lot of people revving, so I didn't want to use too much fuel. Turns out I could have. You'll see me playing with my brake balance as well. F-Type loves to use the front tires. Cool livery as well from the old XKR race car. So I moved the brake balance between 0 and 2 to the rear just to help save those front tires, depending on the position where I was on circuit. So starting off the line, I was a bit worried about turn 1. You'll see me show nose to the Porsche. I wasn't going for the move. It was just to either psych him out and also just so I can see my braking point coming into 1 and 2. And then just to watch the Corvette behind me in the French car. And you see this French all over me at the moment. So good clean run, 2 guys on the right, a little bit of farming. Traditional in Gran Turismo. So it made up 2 positions quite quickly to 10th place. So you'll see as well, having my onboard footage, you'll be able to see the split times from front to rear. Tell me if you guys like it or if you don't like it, or if you like me just jumping between onboard and exterior camera or whatever the case is. Alright, so I wanted to see if I could make a stick around the outside. Yeah, chances are I wouldn't have been able to, but I did on the medium tires, hung it around the outside, and then immediately started catching the next French guy up ahead. I knew I had race pace. As I said, my quali is not the greatest in the world, but I knew in the race I could make up some places if I could just stay out of all the rubbish. So I tried to pull away from the guys behind me. At the same time, I needed to be in the slipstream of the GTR in front. And if you have a look at the replay video at the top right, the F-Type is actually quite small compared to the GTR. Okay, so coming down onto the last corner, this is where I tend to make quite a lot of time. I don't know if it was the class that I was in or if it was the F-Type, but it makes some good, gives me some good drive coming out the last corner. And as you can see in the slipstream of the GTR ahead. So you'll see here, I check my fuel. Fuel's fine, I'm good for the race. I didn't want to go to 2 brake bias to the rear yet. Actually I did, but on the first lap I didn't want to. I needed to close the gap, and I found it was about 0.2, 0.3 seconds a lap quicker on neutral brake bias. 1 to the front I tend to understeer under braking a little bit too much. Onto the rear I oversteer into the corner too much, but moving a 2 to the rear helps to preserve those front tires, which helped me out quite a lot towards the end. So I think this is incident 1. It's not a Beetle, but it is a VW. So you'll notice here the GTR goes for a very funny dive and pushes the Scirocco wide. So I was like, okay, well, Scirocco's been bumped, there's space on the inside, and he just turns into me. Very nice of him. Very nice guy. Top notch. Jolly good. But it didn't disrupt me too much. So again, tried to hang out on the outside of the GTR. Couldn't get him there. And then into this right-hander, the F-Type tends to brake a little bit later than most, but I just couldn't make it stick. So sat back a little bit, waited for my next opportunity to pass, which was actually this right hairpin coming up now. This corner again, I found the F-Type could brake a little bit later and hug that apex a lot easier than majority of the guys out there. So I made up quite a bit of time into that corner. Flat through here with fresh tires, mediums and softs. And then brake just before the 50 board. Early turn in. I take a different line there so I can straighten the car up to get on the gas as early as I can. So coming down the straight, huge train ahead of me. First place you'll see is already 7 seconds ahead. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. That's all of us fighting for some good position. So I didn't want them to get away. Like I said, I knew I had the pace, but I wanted to just try pass the guys as clean as possible unless I get irritated, which happens once or twice. So anyway, close up through the first chicane. I think it's called the center chicane if I'm not mistaken. Coming down the straight into the left-hander, GTR gets a penalty. I don't think it was really deserved. He ran a little bit wide, maybe 2 wheels on the inside of the curb. But here they all just brake far too early, and I hit the GTR. Doesn't run off, but I get a 1 second lead. Again, not necessarily my fault. I took precaution. I did brake a little bit earlier, but they brake before the 100 board when I tend to brake after the 100 board. But anyway, so now I needed to stay at least 1 second clear of the guys behind me so that I didn't sit in that traffic again. I was hoping for the GTR to have the 1 second penalty so I could pass him without a hassle, and then I got a 1 second penalty. So we're both going to drop back quite a bit coming into the penalty zone on the next lap. So coming to the right hand again, watch how I close up on these guys here. GTR takes a massive lunge once again. So this night ride, I'm sorry, but I got a bit boisterous once or twice in the race. I don't feel that I was dirty. I was maybe just a bit aggressive in one or two of the places. But aggressive, then lenient. So sometimes I don't know where I stood with him. I didn't know if he's trying to block the line, defend, barge, whatever it was. I just had to try and play it by ear. So green GTR piercing up the field here, but he's got a 1 second penalty. So you can see I'm about a second off of him. So I'm going to lose a second off of him. But I am almost 2 seconds to the guys behind me because they are fighting. So GTR goes for another lacquer lunge on the McLaren. Von Gruber. Okay, Aston ran a bit wide there. I didn't mean to hit him. You can see I slotted him behind him. And I made a bit of a stuff up here coming into the penalty zone. So the white line instead of there, I geared down. You can see, geared down again. I was on the limiter as I came out of the penalty zone. The Corvette started to catch up to me. You'll see here, gives me a bit of a nudge. I give him the inside line. I knew the next corner was the right-hander, so I thought, maybe I could outbrake him through here, hoping I could at least get the line through these two right-handers. And kudos to him, he actually held the outside quite well. So I gave him the space. I thought, yeah, I'll definitely be able to take him through the right-hander, and again, he held on. So I gave him the inside line through here, and he just pushes me wide. And then the Russian follows through. So I wasn't too happy about that. So I gave him a Vladimir Putin. Bah! Straight back up to 9th. So from here, racing was pretty dormant. Have a look.
It's the first time of today. To dream, believe. You are the strength, you're all I need. Oh, gonna give it a shot. Only one of me to shield you all from the enemy. You're a superhero. You're a superhero. Can I be your superhero? Superhero.
So a nice outside pass back on the Corvette there, as you saw. GTR in front of me got another pin. So I braked myself a little bit there. And this is where I started to see that I could brake a little bit later than most of these cars. Kept the GTR, gave him space on the inside. Went for the outside, quick dive to the inside. Boom, put my nose in and got the pass. So again, I don't know if people were conservative about tires or if the F-Type has actually just developed some kind of PP points to give me performance points to give me some kind of braking. I'm not too sure, but even on the straights, the F-Type seemed to have a bit more oomph than what it used to. So catching up to the McLaren this time. Very clean driver, very chill driver as well. It looks like he doesn't want conflict. He was racing in his own race, but very decent driver nonetheless. So coming down the straight, F-Type got muchos drive coming down. Went for the inside. I knew I was carrying a lot more speed, so I braked a bit earlier, and I realized, oof, too early, so I went on the inside. Then I outbraked myself, and the McLaren cut back on me. Had the inside here, came off the gas, gave the McLaren space, and he held the inside line. So good driving to the British guy in the Mac. So down the straight, have a look how the Jag has quite a lot of legs down the straight. Really does pull some legway on the McLaren. Again, outside move, ran a little bit wide. McLaren comes back. So I slotted behind the McLaren, saw that Corvette coming. I know he likes to bump me. So jumped in back behind the Mackie. And then in this corner, brakes early. So I watched this. I was like, nah, this doesn't seem right. Through the right-hander, braked early again. Ooh, little nudge. Luckily not too dramatic, so he was still online. And have a look at this Russian again. So, this is where I decided this guy's race is over. Sorry to you, Mackie, but I do feel bad, but this guy had to learn. Whoopang! And then he had a spinner router in the background. So yep, I did start it, and it was worth it.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance, not the life I want to live. I want to take it all, standing tall, fear outweighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
So coming into the pit stop orders now, you'll notice I've changed my brake bias to 1 to the rear. Tires were coming to an end. You can see the wear wasn't actually too bad. That 2 to the rear really did help. So I thought, okay, 1 to the rear, I'm going to wear the fronts. I'm going to pit in on 10. And you'll see now the soft runners come in at lap 8. So I was like, cool, that's exactly what I want. I want to run the last session, 8 laps, low fuel on the softs. I should be able to make up quite a bit of ground. So 3 drivers come into the pits, easy 3 positions, but obviously they'll be given back at the end of the stint. Okay, so the other 2 cars that were in front of me, they pitted in on mediums, which is quite shocking. I thought the one driver was on softs because he had a bit of pace. So I waited out. As I said, 10 I was looking to come in. I didn't have a strategy. I just thought a 10-8 split. But also if you look at my times, as soon as I got clear track, even with worn tires, I held quite a decent lap time. So rather than coming out in traffic, I thought, let me stick it out for one more lap. Maybe I can close the gap to the guy in front. He's going to be jumping on softs now. Maybe I can close the gap towards the end. I'm obviously going to forfeit a few positions for the guys that pitted in early. Okay, I've got the Red Bull pit team 300 k's now into the pits. Choose my softs, fuel, and done. Red Bull would be so proud. Okay, so coming out the pits, I slotted out in 10th place or 11th place, and I was like, ugh. Have people not pitted yet, or are people going for a nose stopper, or what's the story? So you'll see the GTR in front of me. It's the GTR that was in front of me at 2.7 seconds. So now it was a bit of a hunting game. I had to try close the gap. I had 8 laps to do so, but as we know, catching up is one thing, passing is another. So I had to just put the pedal down. I am on 2 to the rear brake bias to help preserve my tires for the end of the race, as I had 1 lap new tires than the GTR. So you'll see he passed a Peugeot RCZ. I didn't know if I was fighting for position on this Peugeot, but I seemed to close the gap so quickly. So I thought, I don't want this guy to hold me up. Unless it's on the straight, I don't mind. But I didn't want him to hold me up in the corners. And you'll see from 1.5 seconds to half a second in a matter of 2 to 3 corners. So I had to get past him. I couldn't let him hold me up through this left-hander. So I thought about going for the move, and I was like, maybe it is for position. Went back behind him, and I saw he braked so early, so I pulled the gap. Now we've got a bit of clear track. I had to just put my head down, try catch up as much as I can to the GTR and the Aston ahead of me.
Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Yeah. Birds jumping and I hear my name, grasping into life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a stride. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a ride. Savannah. Lions gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Kids across the land. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a ride. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a ride.
So last couple laps now, there's about 5 laps left. Caught up to the GT on the Aston quite nicely. Big gap behind me to the SLS. So I wasn't too concerned about what was happening behind me. You'll see my lap times came down quite a lot as well. I was just off fastest lap. In fact, got the fastest lap there. So 38 dead, which would have actually put me first placed in quali. Yeah, granted I had a little bit of slipstream from the GTR towards the end, but I am 3 laps on the soft, so it shows my pace. I could have been top 3 or even pole position for quali if I had just stuck a lap through. Anyway, coming down the back straight on the inside of the GTR, I think he eventually just backed out. He saw that I was quicker than him, and he said, okay, well, we've got to try catch up to this Aston. So he gave me a bit away, which I thought, and then started fighting me back for position. So I was like, okay, I didn't go defensive here, and you'll notice he gives me a bit of a nudge going through the right-hander. Maybe it was a mistake, I don't know. But anyway, dived me on the inside, and immediately I gave him beans, but didn't touch him, and held that position. Quite chuffed at that overtake. So Aston was next. Coming into this corner, I mean, as you can see, I'm 0.3 seconds behind. I closed the gap right up, and I didn't want to hit him, and he left the door open. So didn't want to go for that. Coming through here, I thought, should I go for the move? Got some good drive, went on the inside, and what you'll see is my wheel is on next to his. And he turns in on me, so maybe that was my fault, I don't know. But I knew I just needed to break away. I needed to get away from these two. I really wanted the podium position. With the pace I had, I'm quite sure I could have caught the French guy in front of me. So one French guy in front of me, I had to try catch him. I know. GTR in my slipstream coming down the straight, so I went quite defensive. I waited for them to move over before I did and watched the Aston in my mirror. Outbraked himself and decided to hit me. So big sideways, GTR got shunted wide. Yes, got some clear air here. And these two just started fighting each other. So I had some space to pull away. So here I thought, okay, if I could break half a second gap, I knew my tires were in much better condition. You'll see a couple laps later. Have a look in front of me. The Viper. Hits it. Yes! So I'm on for a podium. Thanks, Egbert. So 2 laps to go. 5.9 seconds to the Renault in front of me. And on the last lap, I only finished 7 seconds off of first place. Bear in mind, I dropped down to 15 seconds behind first place when I was fighting in traffic, and I got penalties. So I definitely had the pace. Finished in 3rd, and I got the fastest lap. So, lacquer race, enjoyed it. But guys, let me know if you enjoyed it. Again, like and subscribe, follow. And let me know in the chat, do you like the new structure? Do you like the music? Don't you like the music? Do you like the onboard with the video, the replay on the top? Let me know. Shot, guys. Have a good one.